really, that's one of the things I wanted to share with you today and those listening. We talked about in my early career how I had to prove to myself that I could handle an 8-figure file on my own, because I had to prove it to myself.
Yeah.
But now I don't have to prove it to myself anymore. And if it helps my client to bring in somebody like Roger Reed to do the briefing, or to bring in some highly advanced engineer to help me on the technical issues, I don't mind doing that now. And it makes the process so much more fun, so much more enjoyable, because you have 3 or 4 guys that you can brainstorm every major issue with. If you travel to depositions, you get to go have a good dinner, cold bed. So it was a lot of fun, and we had a great team on this most recent case. But in this case, we did a 2-day, 36-person mock trial, which was invaluable. I mean, we just learned so much about our file, and it was a trial. We had to put on witnesses. We had to do opening statements. And so we were so well prepared for the actual trial when it came, because we had done the mock trial.
Yeah. What did that cost you, though, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't. We ended up spending, when it was all said and done, when you included hotel rooms, so she brought a staff of 6 or 7 people. Each of our firms had our staff there, and food, and a couple cold beverages.
Yeah.
Probably about $80,000.
Well, that's actually not that bad. I mean, I've seen consultants charge as much as 30 for just a focus group, so I can see.
It was, and for me personally, what it did for me is the feedback we got from these 3 jury panels. It gave me the confidence to ask for huge numbers for non-economic damages in voir dire, which is the scariest thing. And so we hired coverage lawyers to assist us in that process. And that really paid off at the end. And I actually had lawyers on the other side tell me, hey, look, your demand letters were expertly done. How'd you do it? And of course, I told them I didn't do it. I had so-and-so at a firm that's charging me $150 an hour to do it. I just signed it. Because, there's all kinds of things that say wasting policies. If they're spending money on the defense of the case or on legal fees, and you demand the entire X amount of coverage, but they don't really have that amount anymore in their policy, well, then that's not a valid demand.
Right.
And so, and nowadays, I think most people in Texas anyway are utilizing the STAIR-STEP method, where you have to make a demand on the primary carrier or on the self-insured retention, and then the primary carrier, and then the next layer. And it has to be a STAIR-STEP timed sequence. So that when you're making your ultimate demand, that carrier has the complete authority to settle the case, because every carrier before them has tendered their limits. And so that's crucial. And so doing that in this case really, really paid off.
What do you think it is that insurance companies never offer what I call real money or top money until you're actually down there, and you're about to pick the jury, you've just picked the jury, or you're halfway through the trial kicking their butt?
Well, I had a defense lawyer who you know very well, who's a good friend of ours, who's the most seasoned of defense lawyers in the state bar. Tell me, Guerra, 99.9% of these lawyers are not going to want to do the work, and these carriers know that, and they're going to save. And if you multiply it times thousands of claims nationwide, they save tens and hundreds of millions of dollars by holding back top dollar until there's a jury in the box, until they are 100% sure that they're actually going to trial and that you've got the guts to do it. Because I've seen the nightmares where a young lawyer will call a more seasoned lawyer who's had experience and had the verdicts, had the recoveries, and then they get hosed, right? And that happens. You've seen it. And some of my close friends have had experience when it comes time to get checks in the mail. They're like, hey, that wasn't our deal. And then and so it's really call someone you can trust, you get a handshake on, and you can, like yourself, somebody you can just trust to work it hard, to put the client first no matter what, and to live up to their part of the deal. And it's going to include you in the process, because I learned how to do it by working with other lawyers, right? So if you get a great file and you're new to that area of law, work with someone who's going to bring you to take you to every deposition, give you responsibility, and bring you in the fold. Yeah, and that synthetic weed didn't show up on drug tests. So I knew he was impaired when he crossed the center line, but I couldn't prove it because none of the medical records, none of his toxicology showed it. And this roughneck who was friends with my brother says, yeah, I know that guy. He's a doper. Matter of fact, I have pictures of him on his cell phone. He had pictures of this driver in his company uniform with a bag of the synthetic weed and a pipe in his hand, passed out in a company truck. So he's like this, holding the weed. And so, that was just an incredible event. So I said, you mind texting me those photos? And that would be the one last thing I would tell young lawyers, especially in our business that are out there, have your cell phone on your card and give it to everybody. Every relative, every family member, every friend, they should have your cell number programmed in your phone. Because when they have that big event in their life, or their friend has a big event in their life, they're going to make one call. And if you don't answer it, or you're not in their phone, they're going to the next number in the phone. And I've had that happen both ways, where I didn't answer the phone. My wife and I used to have problems at dinner because I'd have my phone on. And she'd say, don't answer it during, and I say, babe, I'm paying for college because I answer my cell phone. And there's times when I didn't answer it and they went to the next lawyer. And I've had people call me and said, hey, I called so-and-so, he didn't answer. You're interested in this file? Yeah, I'm there,